Good morning, everyone. This is Julie McDonald with Microcom Technologies, and I'd like to thank all of you for attending today's webinar with TP-Link. Today's host is Vincent Tu. He is their Senior Product Manager, and he'll be presenting today. If anyone has any questions, please submit them in the question box, and Vincent will answer them at the end of today's presentation. Vincent, thank you so much for being with us today. I'm finished for now. Please go ahead and take it on over.
Hi, thank you, Julie. This is Vincent Tu from TP-Link. As mentioned, that I'm the Senior Product Manager of the TP-Link. And today I'm going to present the latest product update, especially on the Omada SDN product line. So for those of you who are not so familiar with the Omada SDN, the Omada provided by the TP-Link, it is not a medical service. It is a software-defined networking system, including the wireless access point for the wireless service, and including the switch to support the wireless network, and including the gateway to connect to the internet. To compose those different products, we use the controller to control everything. And in the controller part, our controller can run on different platforms. The software controller, you can just download it free to your computer. You can run it directly on your computer. If you don't want to trouble to maintain your computer, you can just buy a box, and our hardware controller has the same software controller installed, so you can just power it on and you can use it. If you don't want to trouble to maintain your computer or the hardware controller, you can subscribe to our cloud-based controller. So all kind of controller can control the Omada access points, switch, and router. And for the old friends that you are already familiar with the Omada system, here's the update for this season. As all of you know that we're dedicated in developing the Wi-Fi 6 access point. The latest update, the first one is the EAP 610, that we got a lot of response that our original housing was the 10-inch dish, and it is sometimes too big for installation. And new version, EAP 610 version 2 and 620 version HD version 3, they have the smaller size of the access point from 10-inch to 6-inch. The height of the access point is smaller as well, so it is easier for your installation. The performance wise, they're the same to the older version. The second new improvement on this series is the 670. It is enhanced version from the EAP 660. From AX 3600 wireless speed, it adds up the 160 meg channel bonding bandwidth. EAP 650 is running at AX 30,000. It is in between the entry level 620 and the pro level 660. So it is some product in between. And for the outdoor product, we are now shipping with the 11AC product, EAP 225 outdoor. And we're going to have the EAP 610 outdoor. All three product tag as coming soon. They're going to be available in next month or the coming month or the upcoming months. The EAP 650 version 2, we adding up the LTE connection for the backup or for mobility. And we test it up with the USB dongle or the hotspot provided by the AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile, and they all work perfectly. And also with this USB port, you can connect to the Android phone tethering for emergency use. So we talk about a lot of naming and model numbers. Sometimes it's confused. Let me just rephrase it right here. Right now, TP-Link provide the Wi-Fi 6 access points. 660, 620 are the major access point customer is buying. And 615 is the wall version. Those three models are for the Wi-Fi 6. Traditionally, customers buying 225, 235 for the wall version, and 225 outdoor for the outdoor version. And in the upcoming months, we're going to have the 670. It is 5400. 650, as mentioned, is in the middle of the 660 and 620. So it is AS 3000. And it is the smaller access point as well. And 620 and 610, we're improving in the housing. And 610 outdoor will be our Wi-Fi 6 access point outdoor. And some other model, for example, the 650 outdoor and 650 wall will be coming to the market in this year, but in later quarters. To support the wireless connection, we do have the whole series of the gigabit switch, and they're all available for purchase right now. Just two of the model, 3450 XP and 3452X, are under development. Is going to be available in next quarter. At the same time, we do have the multi-gig switches that because we do have the 660 and 670 access point with the 2.5 gigabit port, you have to have the multi-gig switch to support that. So we do have the multi-gig switch. TLSG 3210X HP is the most popular one. Okay. So, and the other accessory are supporting the system as well. And for the controller, that we released the 5.1 controller this month. The controller right now, the latest one is 5.1.7. It is released already with the Windows version and Linux version. Those four features are the most important feature improved in this version of the controller: the wireless heat map, the PPSK reporting, and remote backup. And other than the software controller and hardware controller, we do have the cloud-based controller. Cloud-based controller is available right now, and it is invitation-based. So if you are interested to have the access to the cloud-based controller, please let Microcom know or to send the email to me so you can be invited to the cloud-based controller. For the general public, it's going to be available in May. The basic feature compared to the cloud-based controller and the software controller is that you can do the zero-touch provisioning and the automatic RF channel and power adjustment only on the cloud-based controller, not a software controller. So let's take a look at what is the benefit for the latest update for the 5.1.7 features. The first one is the wireless heat map. It is still in the beta status, and we're improving the accuracy for some outdoor wireless planning. So what is the wireless heat map? A wireless heat map is a map of wireless signal coverage and strength. The Omada wireless heat map can overlay the graphic representation of the wireless signal to a map of a room, a floor, or a business complex. Omada wireless heat map feature can simulate the virtual wireless access point or the deployed one. So whenever you have the new project, you want to know how the wireless is going to distribute. If you put the access point here or there, and how many access points you are going to have. So here's the tool that can help you to get this answer. So I do prepare the live demo for you. So when you boot up log into the wireless software controller, you go to the map, and then here's the heat map. And with the new project, you can create a new project and name your project and specify the environment and put the physical layout. So it is for the background reference. So this is the map of my office, just simply for the demonstration. And first thing you have to do is set up the scale. So this is my seat 139, and from the open end of my seat is 6 feet. So I can point out this is 6 feet. So then we can set the scale, and then you can edit by dragging and drop the access point. Before you buy it, you can choose one of the access point here and put it on the map and simulate it to see the signal strengths. So for example, let me put 620 HD on my table. Done. And you can simulate the signal. And you can see the wireless signal is perfectly broadcasting from the access point throughout the building. And this is 2.4 gigahertz, and this is 5 gigahertz. And of course, you can change the parameter of the access point to the number that you wish to, and do the simulate again to prevent the interferences. Simulate again. 5 gigahertz. That will adjust the number. And the other thing you want to know is how the wall is going to attenuate the signal. For example, if I want to know what is the signal receiving on the reception area, and assume that we have the brick wall here, we can draw it with the brick wall, and see how the signal is going to attenuate from here to here. Done. Simulate. You can see what is the signal strength over here after the wall and before the wall. And one of the very useful tool is that you can turn this on, show signal strength, and move your cursor around so you can check, okay, here's the signal strength over here, and here's the signal strength over here. So you can virtually roaming around in your office and see how the signal it is. Okay, turn it off. And I have one real deployment here in my office. So if you do have the access point deployed in your in the site, you can just drag and drop the real access point from the adapted devices. As I already drag and drop in here, so whenever I do the settings in my system, the value in this map is going to be changed as well. So it is very good to visualize your signal strength in your office, in your deployment, and for the archive and for the troubleshooting. And after everything, if you are planning for the virtual deployment, you can export the report. Okay, I didn't simulate this. I have to simulate that and then get the report. Okay, so after my simulation, I can export a report. It works with the virtual or the real deployment. So it will create a Word document. The Word document is going to have in the IP list and the layout and the heat map on 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. And you can include it and edit it in your quotation to the customer. So this is the heat map feature. The next feature we're going to talk about is the PPSK. A lot of you are familiar with the pre-share key already, but maybe you don't know. Think about that when someone goes to your house and asking you, what is the wireless ID and the password? And actually the wireless ID is the SSID and the password is the pre-share key. In our home environment, we always giving out the static pre-share key. And in the office environment, sometimes we cooperate with the radio server, so giving out the dynamic pre-share key. But not all the devices can handle the dynamic pre-share key. And the modern wireless authentication is using the portal, and not all the product can handle the portal as well. So for some products, for example, the printer, for some IoT device, for some legacy products, that they cannot support the portal, they cannot support the radius authentication. You have to use the pre-share key for the authentication. But once you're giving out the key to the clients, you're not going to be recycled. For example, you have the business, you are using the same SSID and you have a lot of employee, you're giving out the password for everyone, and the password is the same. And then one of the employee is leaving the company, and what you do right now, are you going to change the password for the whole company? You have to. So with the PPSK feature, you can give it out the same SSID, and each person has their own password. So if you do have the PPSK, you can just delete the password for that person, not for the whole company. It's easier to maintain. So on the system, when you want to set up the PPSK, go to the settings, profile, and PPSK. This is, I do have the example for the MDU, because for the student apartment or senior home, we provide the wireless system for the whole complex. But a single room or the single apartment, they have to have their privacy. They have to have their own password. But it doesn't have to have the different SSID. It is going to be a chaos if you're handling the hundreds of the SSID at the same complex. So you can use the same SSID and assign the different password. For example, if we have the NDU and we want to have the south building, and we can add the apartment 2 and passphrase. And you can tie it to the specific device, or you can assign the VLAN when it assigned to. For example, I can assign it to the VLAN 30 for the, let me say 202, to the apartment 202. So every device sign up with the apartment 202, they become the same VLAN. And you can add up one more here for apartment 203 and setting up the password and setting up the VLAN. And here's the profile for the PPSK. And how can you tie it to the wireless authentication? The next step is that go to the wireless network and select the SSID. For example, I use the MDU as the access point. And you can choose here with the PPSK without our radius. Remember, we just set a profile in the controller. You can just simply use the controller to manage all your user list. You don't have to set up the radius somewhere and you have to maintain it. Of course, if you have 1,000, you have the complex user list, or you have already established a server there, you can use the PPSK with radius, so you don't have to build up the user list again. So we can use the PPSK without radius and choose what profile you want. For example, the new North building, and apply. And that is how you manage the PPSK. And you don't have to key in one by one if you maintain the user database on the controller. You can just edit the CVS file in your Excel and import it to the controller, and it can be on the controller PPSK profile. it is sometimes easier for your management or the editing. And you can have hundreds of the user on a controller without building up the radius server. That is a PPSK. And next important improvement is the reporting. On a controller, we used to have the dashboard, so you can watch what's going on with the controller and what is the detail of the network. And on the controller 5.1.7, we add up the report section here. It is similar to the dashboard, but you have more information here. You can check it with the summary, wireless summary, device, wireless device, SSID, and clients. You can export it directly with the app PDF, or you can send it through the email. The best thing is that you can enable the schedule reporting, and you can send it up daily, weekly to your email, so you can have the archive, and whenever your customer want to have the report, you can have the quick access for all your reports. So this is the reporting. And the next major improvement for the 5.1.7 is the remote backup. This is a catching up feature. In before, if you want to have the backup configuration of the controller, you have to go on site to have the access. I know it make a lot of trouble for the installer, but for the security concern, we make it very carefully for the progress. And now we do provide the remote backup. So to enable it, you can go to the settings, auto backup, and enable the auto backup, and enter your FTP information here. And the protocol we support is the FTP, TFTP, SFTP, and SCP. So if your server is in local, you can just choose the FTP or a TFTP. If it is remote, the suggestion is that you create the SFTP or SCP for the controller backup. So those four features are the major improvement in the controller 5.1.7. And we're going to keep going forward to improve our controller better and better. And in 5.2, we're going to release in later this year. And at that time, I'm going to update the latest information for 5.2 in the second half of this year. So for now, it is the update for the 5.1 controller. And back to you, Judy.
Thank you so much, Vincent, for that wonderful presentation. And I do have some questions for you, so let's go ahead and get started. First question, regarding the EAP models, what are the warranties on the new devices?
Can you say the question again?
Yes, regarding the EAP models, what are the warranties on those new devices?
Okay, so for all the indoor product, those are ceiling mount and in-wall product, they're all lifetime warranty. For the outdoor product, they're 2 years.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Next question. Regarding the ER605V2 through the USB 2.0 LTE, will it work aside from AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile, and will it work internationally?
It will. And for the US market, we tested with those major providers. For other providers, if the dongle is in NAT mode, NAT net mode, it definitely will work. If it is the legacy dongle, and we do compatible with some legacy product, and you can visit our website. There's a compatible list for the USB dongle.
Thank you, Vincent. Next question here for you. Is the ER605V2, can an external antenna be used to improve the signal of the LTE?
Okay, so for the ER605 itself, it is not a wireless router. So it connects to the external LTE dongle, and the wireless signal is in charge by the dongle or the hotspot.
Thank you, Vincent. Next question here. Will Omada hardware work flawlessly with non-Omada hardware?
The Omada hardware controller, the main purpose for the Omada hardware controller is to load the Omada controller software. And the Omada controller software works only with the Omada devices.
Thank you, Vincent. Next question regarding Omada hardware. Does the wall and ceiling brackets, are they included?
Yes, the bracket is included.
Great, thank you so much. Let's see here, next question. If I am using the old Omada controller, can I upgrade to Omada SVN controller?
Okay. Omada product line in the market for many years, and before 5.0, we do have version 4 and version 3 and version 2. They can only control the wireless system, and you can upgrade the version 4 to 5 to having more control for the switch and the router as well.
Thank you, Vincent. The next question, still regarding the Omada SVN controller, can it be used on a Linux system?
How can you ask that again? What is the detail of the question?
Sure. Okay, I'll read the question again. It says, can I run Omada SVN controller on a Linux or a Linux system?
Yeah, sure. The software controller comes with the Windows version and Linux version, so you can run it on the Windows operating system or the Linux operating system. Yes.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. Couple more questions. Next one. Does TP-Link offer network design assistance?
Yes, we do provide the network design service. Before the 5.1.7, we use the professional heat mapping and design software in-house that provide our customer or the Microcom's customer that if you want to plan for the new site deployment, you can just send the raw material to us and we can do the service for you. And right now you can do it yourself on the 5.1.7 with the heat map feature.
Thank you, Vincent. Couple more questions. For the Omada signal strength mapper, will there be an option to add Wi-Fi interfering devices such as a microwave like that?
No, it is simply simulate the signal strengths, so you can see how the wireless signal distribution and how the wall can attenuate the signal. We didn't have the detailed feature for the wireless interference. No.
Thank you, Vincent. Last question here for you. Does the heat map come included with the network design and quote?
Uh, Okay, so our heat map feature is included in the software controller, and the software controller is free. You can just download it and can just use it. And before you purchase the EAP, the access point, you can see how many and where you're going to put the access point. And you can export it to your quote, to your customer, that how it's going to be look and how many access point you're going to put it on and why.
Vincent, thank you so much for answering those questions for us today. And also thank you to everyone for attending today's webinar. And if anyone has any further questions, of course, please feel free to contact your sales rep, or you can email us at sales@microcomtech.com. And if you wish to view any of the products mentioned or shown today, please visit us at www.microcom.us. And remember, this webinar presentation has been recorded and will be uploaded to our YouTube channel so that you can view it again. Vincent, thank you for your time and all of this invaluable information. And we will get in touch with you for another webinar for the next set of new information that you have to share with us. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you very much, Julie.
Bye-bye, Vincent.
Bye.